Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Today we have an incredible guest. His name is Paul Montelongo, a seasoned entrepreneur and investor with 40 years of experience in building and operating multi-million-dollar businesses. He's generated over $90 million in revenue generated in a portfolio that spans over 1,400 units across 8 markets. He specializes in revitalizing underperforming specialty properties, including marinas, resorts, multifamily apartments, and event venues. So on this episode, we're going to dive into Paul's journey, how he built his empire, as I would call it, his approach to identifying high potential properties, and the mindset needed to balance business success with personal fulfillment. He's also going to share valuable insights on scaling a real estate portfolio, building high-performing teams, and maximizing your profits. So whether you're an investor, you're an entrepreneur, or just someone looking for inspiration, this episode is packed with wisdom you're just not going to want to miss. So without further ado, Paul, welcome to the show. I'm very excited to have you on. Why don't you just introduce to the audience who you are, your background, and just how you got here?
Sure. Thanks a lot, Christian. That was a very nice introduction there.
I'll try my best.
So I've had a lifetime of business entrepreneurship, real estate investing, and everything that goes along with it. So I like to tell the story. My first investment was when I was 17 years old. I bought a piece of raw land, and I had this great idea that I was going to build a house, a speculative house, and sell it and make all this money. And I had no clue about how to build a house at the age of 17. So 2 years later, I posted a sign on a telephone pole saying "lot for sale," and it actually had my parents' telephone number on it. I got the call, and I invested $7,500 in that lot. I sold it for $15,000. Wow. So, I doubled my money, and I did what every seasoned real estate investor should do with a windfall profit like that. I bought a truck and a motorcycle. And so then 2 years later, I bought my first residential house, and I flipped it. And then I just started buying houses and doing fix and flips. Along the way, I had a construction company. I had a real estate business. I had a insurance restoration company. I had a marketing company. I then transitioned into commercial real estate as a full-time investment strategy in 2013. I had bought a couple of commercial properties, prior to that, but my focus then moved to all commercial properties, cash flow, multi-tenant properties. When I bought a marina in North Carolina on a lake called Lake Wiley, and we renovated that marina. We put in tiny homes, and I had storage and events and boats and boat rentals and lot storage. At one point, I had 13 streams of revenue, and that's when I really got hooked on multi-tenant properties and the multiple streams of revenue on those properties. So now I buy primarily apartments or storage, We are venturing out into some other asset classes like assisted living and like flex space and like data storage. Again, the multi-tenant, multiple streams of revenue type properties make a lot of sense to me because you have one transaction, one close, but then you have a number of ways to monetize that property and to get revenue coming in off that one property. So that's where we are now.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
And I mean, it's been a journey. It's actually been a little bit more than 40 years. I think in your opening you said 40 years, but let's go with 40 years for right now. Okay.
I was going to say, yeah, let's leave it at 40. That's incredible. That's incredible. Well, I'm interested. You've built and operated, 8 multi-million-dollar businesses. I mean, I'm curious to know, and I know the audience is as well. What was the biggest lesson you've learned from all of those experiences, and also the biggest lessons that you're learning right now?
Yeah, the biggest lesson is personnel. People. You have to have the right people with you, around you, on your team, people that you collaborate with, people that you joint venture with. Every contact in your sphere, it has to be, the best kind of people that you can find. I'm talking about lenders, I'm talking about bankers, insurance people, vendors, construction people, anybody that's related to your business. Your ability to find like the best humans that you can find, that you can wrap yourself around is the key to it. And so, I had to learn that the hard way, the long way, but fortunately after, a few years, I learned it, and I still have to learn it. So we, when we partner with people or I collaborate with people, or even if I'm just providing some kind of, consultation or some kind of sponsorship for people, it's the people behind it, because, I wish everything were to go super duper smoothly in business and in real estate, but it doesn't. And that's the reality. And so what happens to your deal when something, when hard times come on the deal for whatever reason, what kind of people are you in the foxhole with? So the quality of the people, to me, has become the largest learning experience that I've had, and it continues to be the largest learning experience. Like always making sure that I wrap myself around people with similar values and mission and work ethic and those kinds of values.
I love that. So other than those things that you touched on just now about what you're looking for as far as people, but maybe let's talk about, how you can build a high performing team as well, right? I mean, what would you say are some of the most important qualities you look for when you're assembling a team to manage and grow your investments, and also how you're optimizing your current team across your companies as well?
Yeah. So let's be clear. Skill set is extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm looking, let's say, for a project manager, project management skill set has to be there, and there has to be experience with that skill set. Okay, that's great. So that's an assumption. We're using the example of project manager.
Sure.
So that's an assumption. You got to have some experience. Aside from that, or actually more important to that, is what about the person? What about their work ethic? What about their family? What projects have they been on? How did they handle stress? How did they handle work overload? What do they do in their off time? One of the classic examples I give is that I have an assistant that's been with me since 2009.
Wow.
And she's been my personal assistant for however many years that is, since 2009. And she reminds me that in the interview, I asked her a question. I said, if you had any amount of money, money wasn't a thing, and you weren't doing this job, you didn't have to have a job, what would you do with your life? And she said, well, I would be a professional bodybuilder. I'm like, really? Well, come to find out, she was a competitive bodybuilder as it was anyway, in her off time. And to me, that said several things. That said discipline. That said drive. That said set a goal and go get it. And
if you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Then, of course, she had the technical skills that I was looking for in an administrative assistant. So, that's an example that comes to my brain. So there's the skill set, and then there's the person. There's the human. And as it's turned out, she's been a super, in her example, been a super valuable asset. And a few years ago she got cancer, and she just fought her way through it. Wow. So that's a testament to. She had lung cancer, really, and she was actually given her last rites. But she fought her way through it. So that is a testament to who she is as a person. So I look for those kinds of people, like the people that I'm with right now and collaborate with and partner with, and the people that work for us as a whole. I would say that they have really good personality skills and really good drive and determination. They're focused on their mission. They're focused on who they are as individuals. They're focused on their family and really making an impact in the world. And so that's the kind of people I like to be around. And I find that in my world, those kinds of people tend to be better people to work with.
I love that. Yeah, it makes your life easier as well, right?
Yep.
They hold the same core values as well. They hold the same work ethic as well. Those qualities are so important that you touched on. So since we're on that subject, we know, and I know specifically, that you help real estate investors and professionals find balance, right, in their work and their businesses. So how do you maintain balance while managing multiple businesses, in doing all your investments, your everything? And also, how do you help other people achieve the same result?
Yeah. So we can talk real here, right, Christian?
Absolutely. As real as it gets.
The thing is, I don't always have balance. I really don't. It's a thing that I continue to work on and strive. But I think when you're passionate about something, and when you have a mission about, a thing, in this case, it'd be real estate and my business and the wealth and the impact, the legacy that I want to leave, then I think sometimes a person can become, myself included, can become out of balance by that definition. But are you really out of balance, or are you just so driven and so on mission and so on task and so on purpose that it feels to others that it might be out of balance? To me, it doesn't feel most of the time, it doesn't feel like I'm out of balance. It feels like I'm just in it. I'm pursuing it. Sure. Okay. That said, I know that I have to take care of my body. I know that I have to take care of my mindset. I know that I must take care of my relationships with my wife and children. And so those are a priority as well. There's like no demarcation between the two. It's just all blended. It's part of the recipe. So is that balance? Is that life balance? I don't know. I think it's life engagement. And those are that, we're all made up of a lot of different colors. There's a lot of colors on our palette. And then the palette, it all comes together as one. So, could be in balance, or it could just be the conglomeration of life, which is what I choose to believe.
Oh, man, I love that. I've never heard it worded the way that you just worded it. That's absolutely incredible.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Let's transition here. I'm curious to know, I mean, I know you said you've had that personal assistant also since I believe you said 2009. Don't quote me. But before that year, we know what that year was. I mean, that was 2008. And you've been doing this for, we're going to say 40 years, right? How
That's
have
the number
you
we're going with.
adapted to different market cycles, specifically that one as well? And where do you see the current market heading all across the real estate board in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, that's a great question. So in my career, in my life, the media has identified 4 recessions, all right, with the last one being maybe a couple of years ago, and who knows if that was identified as a recession. But for the sake of this conversation, let's say that the media has identified 4 time frames where there was a recession in our economy. Well, I participated in the first one. So the first one was back in the 80s, and you know, it was high gas prices and high mortgage prices, and there was a recession and all this, and I participated in it. Like I was a victim of it. But that was of my own choosing, right? Because we have the choice. Can we be a victim, or are we not going to be a victim? So the other 3, I chose not to participate in those recessions. And so what you're talking about in 2008, 2009, 2010 provided a huge opportunity for me personally. I was living in Texas and I moved out to Las Vegas, lived out there so that I could invest in real estate in California, because California real estate had taken a tank, which meant there was opportunity. So, and I didn't want to live in California. I preferred to live in a non-income tax state, Nevada, next door, 4-hour drive over to the market that I was investing in. And so that provided an opportunity. So where did that come from? So that's a mindset. And that's a choice that I made from going out of the first recession, quote. And so, you know, we have a choice. We have a choice to participate or to not participate. We have a choice to participate or to see the opportunity. So, and that's nothing more than a mindset, because of an individual can become a victim to any circumstance, and especially a circumstance created by the media. So, or a person can have a choice not to become a participant in that, and not to become a victim, but to become a victor. So that's the choice that I've made. And listen, every day, there in the chapters of our life, every day there are challenges, and we have 2 choices. We have the choice of being a victim of the event or being able to conquer the event. So there's the event, and then there's what we choose to do with the event, how we choose to process that. And that's the case with business, relationships, health and fitness, with our family. That's the case with everything that happens, happens in life. Is like we have the choice to choose how we process the event.
I love that. Paul, have you always had this mindset that you have right now? Like, or do you think it was experience that you've always had by being in this for so long that helped you create this mindset that you possess? Or did you have a mentor maybe earlier on in your career that helps you develop these skill sets? Or how has that been for you?
No, I haven't always had this.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate to have been raised in a family that, my father, God rest his soul, was a football coach. And so, there was a lot of rah-rah in our house because that was his nature, right? So I grew up with that exposure. But, and there was, there were the common phrases around the house, quitters never win, winners never quit, those kinds of things. So I imagine that got into my psyche, of course. But in terms of really making a conscious decision about the events that happened into my life, I really didn't know that you could make a conscious decision until, you know, maybe I was in my late 20s or early 30s. I didn't realize it. Okay, we have the ability to choose how we process the events that happen into our life. I just thought the events happened, and you just roll with the punches. So, yeah, I had people that taught me this, and I had, you know, books that I read, and, you know, programs that I went to, and these kinds of things that really provided a nice mentorship for me. And then I think as life progressed, and I had certain things that happened to me that many people could say, you know, were negative, and even though they didn't feel very good, I was fortunate enough to be able to choose to process them in a way that would serve me rather than damage me. And by the way, that's an ongoing process.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think we wake up every morning and go, today's the best, and
Nope.
it's always going to be great like this. Maybe you think that, but it's after you take an evaluation of the things that have happened. It's like, oh, this happened, and that didn't feel too good, but I can reframe it in such a way. So I think you asked a little bit earlier about the market and where it's going, and I have optimism about the market. So in 2025 and 2026, I have a much better optimism than I did in 2024 and 2023. The realities of the market with the interest rates and the tightness in the market provided some challenges that we hadn't seen in a while. And so now, you know, we handle those challenges, obviously, but now we see a loosening of those challenges. And I think, especially in multifamily and in apartments and those kinds of assets, I think that the bottom, we've seen the bottom, or we've seen very close to the bottom. So that means that everything is on the way up, in my view. That, of course, relates to a lot of, you know, external factors, interest rates, the Fed, consumer confidence. All of those things are just, you know, they're just a recipe that's always cooking. But I do feel optimism. I think that the current administration is producing some optimism in the marketplace as well. So I'm optimistic about what's going to happen over the next 5 to 10 years. I do think that the country is going to experience growth, population growth. I do think that the country is going to experience economic growth. And so all of that, and we're entering this age, we have entered this age of AI. It's like it affects everything that we do. In fact, you'll probably edit this program through AI. I don't know. Maybe you probably will. It'll be done in like 2 minutes or less. And so, you know, a lot of good things are happening, and I'm choosing to see those good things as a positive sign.
I love that. So, Paul, how are you going to position yourself, you know, to take advantage, you know, of that landscape here for
Sure.
your businesses?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, our population is aging, but our population is more healthy now than it has been in years past. So that has, you know, that's contributed to the aging. And so, all right, so our population is aging, and these are the baby boomers, and the baby boomers do have money as a general group. And so that's why we like assisted living. That's why we like, you know, some of the nicer assisted living or some of the nicer communities that will service this population. AI, obviously, and all the technology that wraps around it, we see opportunity there. For real estate, those kinds of facilities will need a place to reside. So we see that as an opportunity, and because our population continues to need housing, we still see apartments and apartment investing as a major space in the real estate that we can occupy, especially with our experience and our track record.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Thank you for sharing. Let's talk a little bit about, you know, you are a speaker as well. You are an author of 3 books. So why don't you share the titles of those books as well? And also, you know, we were talking earlier. I mean, you help other people and investors. You know, I know you said, you know, there's no such thing as, well, not no such thing, but balance is a very tough thing, right? but you also help them, maximize profits and you help them build high performing teams in their companies. Why don't you just share how all that's going for you and how you do that?
Sure, I'll give you a high level. The books that I've written are on sales and on marketing and on business organization. Okay, and I've recorded a number of training videos, and those are all out there on YouTube. And I've recorded and written, I don't know, hundreds of articles and blogs and so on and so forth. But essentially, what I do is I offer private mentoring because I was fortunate to have mentors. And so people, with intimate knowledge of how a business works, I feel should be able to share that information with other people who are going through the same thing. So, and this is more than just broad-based general type, self-help information. This is very specific. Like, I didn't realize, or I didn't know how to go get 1,000 units of apartments.
Yeah.
And so like a key piece of that is capital raising. Like where do you find the capital to buy, a $10 million apartment complex? Because, you have to partner and you have to be able to get debt and you have to be able to get equity. And there's a very specific skill set with that. And that's a learned skill set. I can give you the ABCs 1, 2, 3 of what to do and go out, how to go out and do it and who to talk to. But until you actually have those conversations and until someone actually wires you the money to invest in one of your projects, it's just reading, So the key is the actual experience. Operating 1,000 units or 12 or 1,500, however, I think we have currently, because we sold some, we have 1,106, right? So I've actually cycled through close to 2,000, but until you go operate a 200 unit apartment complex, it's conceptual, and so it's not it's not real life experience. So I'm able to help people understand what it's like to be able to put together a team, to be able to do a thing like that. The other thing is too that I think a lot of times people are operating reactively instead of proactively. So if we can get people, especially real estate investors, if we can get real estate investors off the reactive wagon and into the proactive, like what do you want your business to look like? Where do you want it to go? Who do you want to help? How's your family going to react to the growth of the business and so forth? Then that's the other thing that we do, and we help people do that. So a person can go to montelongocapital.com, and there's a tab for resources, and there's a coaching tab there, and there's also a way to reach out to have a conversation with me, and I'm happy to have that conversation. I take all conversations. I do that for a couple of reasons. First of all, someone took my call, back in the day. Somebody took my call. And there's two guys in particular that I can think of that took my call. And they taught me how to raise money, and they taught me how to go buy multi-million-dollar apartment complexes, and they taught me how to manage them. They taught me how to sell them. They taught me how to deal with investors and so forth. So somebody took my call. But then there's also I do that because somebody took my call. And then, if it's helpful, I can give advice on that call, and that could be it. That's fine. That might be just enough to send you on your way to really do great things. If you need more, we can have that conversation.
I love that, Paul. I have enjoyed this conversation so much, and I honestly wish we could go for another hour because there's so many more questions that I would like to ask you on, especially exit strategies. But I would love to have you on another show here in the near future, my friend. But any other last words you'd like to maybe share to the audience? Maybe a new investor, maybe it's a new real estate professional that's looking to really just find their footing, right? They're not sure whether to go in commercial, single family, Section 8, mobile homes. There's so much noise, obviously, in the industry right now. Is there any advice you could give to somebody that is just trying to find, again, their footing and how to just build something long lasting?
Sure. Yeah, I'm asked that on every show that I do. It's like, what's your advice? What's your advice? So I think about, okay, how can I crystallize it into like 20 or 30 seconds? Right. So let's do this. First of all, know your deal. Like whatever kind of deal that you're in, if you're flipping a house or if you're buying a $35 million apartment complex, know your deal, the insides and outsides of every aspect of your deal. And whatever you don't know, go find out. Secondly, from a business perspective, master the art of raising capital. Because if you want to grow a business, doesn't matter what kind of business it is, real estate or otherwise, if you want to grow a business, you need capital. You need capital for expansion, for inventory, for assets, for real estate. So master the art of raising capital. That's a relational thing. That's a relationship thing. So master the art of raising capital. So those are the technicalities of the business. The other piece of advice I would give you is protect your mind. Protect it's been said, protect that 6 inches of real estate between your ears. That is, feed your mind with healthy material, associate with people who have like mind and vision and mission, and they're encouraging to you, and they're fun and they're engaging and they don't mind being vulnerable with their mistakes and their successes. So take care of your mind, and then take care of your body, and also, above all, take care of your relationships. So that there's 5 things. Know your deal, learn how to raise capital, protect your mind, protect your body, and protect your relationships. And so if you do that, you're going to have a pretty happy life. And I think that's what the real end game is here. I don't think the real end game is, okay, I need 1,000 units, or I need, I need to flip 40 houses. I don't think that's the real end game, because that stuff is kind of easy to get on its own. The real end game is, how do I live a happy, fulfilling life that, that can help others, and people get benefit from being around you, and you get benefit from being around them. So the ultimate goal here is to be happy, to pursue the pursuit of happiness.
I love that. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Paul, this was incredible. I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. And again, I would love to have you back on, because again, I do feel like we have a lot more to discuss and talk about. But I'm just wishing you nothing but the best in your future endeavors, your businesses, and also just your life in general. I'm excited to see you continue to thrive.
Thank you. Glad to be in here, Christian.
Absolutely.
Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed the show as much as I did. Be sure to check this one out, and also reach out to Paul. I'm sure you won't regret it at all. But as always, my friends, we will see you on the next episode. Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.